Hey, welcome everyone. It's time for the review of the Jabra Elite 45H headphones. Now, if you're looking for the written version of this review, you can find a link to my website in the video description. Now, these aren't fancy headphones with amazing features, but that's not the point, as these fall closer to the entry to mid-range area headphones in terms of pricing. The main reason I make that claim is because here in Canada it's priced at $130, whereas in the US it's priced at $100. This is a pretty large price difference from Jabra's other headphone offering, the Jabra Elite 85H, but those are considered Jabra's premium noise cancelling headphones, which I have reviewed. You can find a link to that review in the video description as well. In terms of connectivity, this is a pure wireless headphones and connects via Bluetooth. Thankfully, at this price point, it can connect up to 8 devices and keep them in memory, but it can only have 2 active connections at the same time, which is still pretty good nonetheless. That means you can basically have dual connectivity. However, you can only listen to media from one device at a time. So if you're listening to music on your phone first and try to play something at the same time on your computer, it won't work. It will only accept audio from the first device that's playing. Once the first device stops playing media, then you can listen to audio on the second device. Even when it comes to phone calls, you can only accept calls from one device at a time. Jabra advertises that these headphones have a range of 33 feet, but in my testing, I got even way better at about 50 feet, and that's with no line of sight to the device that I was paired with. So very impressive, and even during that time, audio was crystal clear. A soft traveler's pouch is included in the box. Now, you shouldn't expect a hard case at this price tag, but having a soft case is almost pointless as it doesn't really protect anything. In addition, if you're traveling, then there's a strong chance you have something else to carry the Elite 45H and the accessories in. Accessories included just being a simple USB-A to USB-C charging cable, which is 12 inches in length. There's no power adapter included in the box, as you're expected to use your own or simply connect it directly into a computer's USB port. The body is your typical plastic constructed headphones. However, they still look sleek. In fact, they look identical to the Jabra Evolve 265, which is an amazing headset, by the way. You can find a link to that review also in the video description. It's as if Jabra used the same design team for the Elite 45H and the Evolve 265, which isn't a bad thing. As I mentioned, the 45H looks great. Despite its price tag, the body feels respectable. Obviously not the toughest due to the price tag, but they don't feel cheap either. If you're planning to travel with them often, there shouldn't be much concern. They're also rather light, weighing at only 160 grams, so it feels great in the hand if you're carrying them around or even on your head. They're rather easy on the eyes when you're wearing them or simply placed on the side, again thanks to how sleek they look. That's the case of regardless which color you decide to get them in. The color options are titanium black, navy blue, gold beige, and copper black. They're an on-the-ear type of headphones and they're quite comfortable. Even when wearing them for 5 hours straight on multiple sessions, my ears never felt a bit of discomfort. In fact, my ears never got warm or sweaty either, except while working out. Now, these headphones are fine for working out if your head is upright, say if you're doing squats, deadlift, elliptical, whatever, but the second you look down to, say, do one-arm dumbbell rows, they will slip and fall, which is kind of a given. But I still don't recommend using them working out because if you're working out intensely, you will sweat like crazy and these kind of get disgusting. But, I mean, that's completely up to you. The headband flex is a bit loose, which means the ear cuffs won't press in too tight on your head. Don't worry about the flex being a bit too loose either, it still compresses in a decent amount. While the headphones are around my neck, they don't really bother me. This is due to the ear cuffs being compact so I can turn my head left and right easily. Tilting my head down doesn't work well as my chin hits the ear cuffs. This isn't a real concern, but more of an FYI. The headband cushioning is incredibly soft and will feel really satisfying for people with little to no hair. The comfort carries over to the ear cup padding, which is PU leather. The ear cup padding is also advertised as being memory foam, but it always ends up back in a neutral position after taking them off. Not a big deal, but just something I wanted to mention again. But moving past that, the padding has some decent thickness, which helps with the comfort. The ear cuffs are well designed to accommodate most ear and head shapes, since they can rotate up, down, forward, and back. Not to forget, the headband extension can get rather long. The extension band has no notches, so you can adjust it to the exact length that's perfectly comfortable for you. And yes, in case you're wondering, the ear cuffs can be easily replaced by simply just popping them right off the body and then buying a replacement set. When it comes to controls, the left ear cup doesn't have anything. Everything is on the right ear cup. So going over to the right ear cup, starting at the top, there are controls for volume up. Holding that will forward the track. The middle button, which is a multifunction button for play, pause media, or answering or ending a phone call. And lastly, just underneath that is the volume down button. Obviously, holding that button will go to the previous track on whatever you're listening to. The controls are simple, but they're a bit too close to each other. I have the exact same problem as the Evolve 265 that sometimes I'm trying to press the play pause button, but I might hit volume down instead by accident. Just wish they were spaced apart a little bit more. On the top front of the ear cup is a button to mute while on a call or activate voice assistant. According to Jabra documentation, the voice assistants this is compatible with is Google Assistant, Amazon, Siri, and Cortana. Yeah, even Cortana, surprisingly. With Google Assistant and Android in my testing, it works flawless. No issues, it's very seamless. I just press the button and it will activate right away and it works great. A couple things to keep in mind is that, of course, when you're listening to media, it won't work. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you have this paired with two devices at the same time, it will only accept the voice assistant from the second paired device. So for example, if I have an iPhone I pair to first and an Android device I pair to second, because the Android device is paired to second, it will never use Siri. It will always use Google Assistant from the Android device. The only way to get around that is to unpair the iPhone and then repair it, because that will become the newest connected device. So not a big deal, but just something to keep in mind in case you do run into that obstacle. This is designed intentionally, it works just fine. One thing to also keep in mind, I just want to mention, just in case you're curious, there's no media auto pause, which basically means if you take headphones off, sometimes they'll automatically pause your music or video and putting them back on will resume. These headphones don't have that feature. Not surprising at this price tag, but just something I want to mention. And in terms of powering the headphones on and off, there's a switch at the bottom right of the ear cup. That same switch, if you hold it on the very end, will allow for Bluetooth pairing mode. Now I'm just going to mention it simply because people might be curious about noise cancelling. There is no ANC, which is active noise cancelling, on these headphones. Now when it comes to passive noise cancelling, because these are on the ear headphones, they'll literally cover your ears. Some people might be curious, well, does it block out a lot of noise in the background? Not much. It almost does, well, next to nothing. Of course, noises will be slightly muffled a little bit, but don't expect it to really block any background noise. Now, when it comes to battery, Jabra advertises that this battery will last a whopping 50 hours. However, it's even better than that, because in my multiple battery drain tests, which took forever, doing it multiple times, I actually averaged even more at 65 hours, which is incredible. It's probably super overkill for a lot of people. But hey, I actually looked at it as a bonus feature, nothing to complain about. It's fantastic. When it comes to recharge time, Jabra documentation lists 90 minutes. I average about 103 minutes. A little bit higher, not a big deal, as close to what they average. But honestly, you can't really complain with this incredible battery life. The charging port is located at the bottom of the right ear cup, and it's thankfully a USB-C port. And while charging, you can listen to audio at the same time. Well, the cord is really small, 12 inches. You might want to get a longer one if you want to try to do that. Now the 45H has dual microphones in here, and I think the reason for that is one microphone is used for phone calls, so it'll listen to my voice. The second microphone is trying to listen to background noise, and then we'll try to cancel background noise, so the person on my call or people on my call on the other end won't hear as much background noise surrounding me. So what I'm gonna do is give you a quick sample of what it's like in a noisy environment. Okay, so right now we're providing a sample through the camera microphone as if it was a noisy cafe environment, but of course the camera microphone is not good. That's the entire point, to demonstrate how loud it is here. So I'm gonna stop talking so you can get the full picture of how noisy it really is. With that said, now we're switching over to the 45H headphone microphone. Now in terms of clarity, it's not bad. It's not the best, but again, at this price point, the clarity of my voice is not bad. But it does a surprisingly good job at canceling a lot of the background noise. Let me just stop talking for a second and you can hear it for yourself. So as you can see, it's not bad at this price point. Surprisingly well, actually. Again, not as good as the Jabra Elite 85H headphones, which I have reviewed. You can find a link to that review in the video description, but those are almost 3 to 4 times the price. So it's not surprising there. Although if there's any really high-pitched or sudden loud bursts of noise like car honking, or an ambulance siren or something to that extent like a dog barking, you will hear those come through into the microphone, but that's not surprising. Now in terms of audio quality, save for music, this is where things really surprise me at this price point. This is one of the strongest features of these headphones, and I'm very happy to say that audio quality is pretty stellar at this price point. Mids and highs are superb, they're great. Bass, which I'm a real big fan of, but trying to be neutral for this video, bass is incredible. Again, at this price point, it performs and it has a great punch behind it. Out of the box, it's not that strong, but of course there is an app you can use, which I'll get into very shortly. If you increase the bass a little bit on the equalizer in the app, phenomenal performance, you will not be disappointed. Also, the very strange thing here is, again, this is a kind of a entry to mid-range price. Jabra's premium headphones, the 85H, which again I also have reviewed, has less bass than the 45H. The 45H, which is almost a third or a fourth of the cost, depending on if it's sale or not, performs better than the more expensive premium headphones. So if you're looking for some decent audio quality, you'll not be disappointed. And of course, that carries over to other things like listening to sports, and of course with action movies, with shootings, and video games with action sequences. Again, if you increase the bass a little bit, noises from like explosions and car racing will give that extra oomph. it's a pretty good experience. Now switching over to the software side of things, there is a app for computers, but this is not compatible with it. Instead, you have to use the Elite 45H with the mobile app, which is what I'm demonstrating now. Not a big deal because it works pretty well. So as long as you have it synced up with the cell phone and you have this app, you can adjust things such as the equalizer, which I mentioned. If you adjust the equalizer here, it'll adjust over to what you're connected to on your computer because you can keep up to 8 devices in memory, which is pretty neat. You have a custom equalizer, which you can then save to a custom profile if you want to. But of course, you do have some preset profiles, which one for bass boost, one for neutral, and so on and so forth. You can kind of mess around and tweak with it. Soundscape is just basically some built-in background noise, like say white noise, some maybe waterfowl sound effects to help you concentrate. Maybe you're working on like a documentation or a contract or something. That's pretty much in a nutshell what it is. Going down any further, edit widgets is basically just interface customization, nothing special there. One of the neat things here is if you hit the gear icon on the top right, this is where you can adjust some of the actual other settings of the headset itself, or headphones rather, and you can get firmware updates automatically pushed to your headphones. You can adjust some other things, which I like to recommend is that you adjust the call experience and turn off side tone. Basically, as you can read for yourself, if you do not turn this off, you can hear all noise in the background around you while you're on a phone call. It's extremely annoying. I highly recommend you turn this off, and phone calls will be much easier to hear. But the software is generally well designed, easy to use with all the functions you would want in one place. Overall, I have to say that considering this is a kind of a entry level to mid-range price tag, this is a great pair of headphones. It's fantastic at the price point. But overall, if you're looking at something in this price point, this is one you definitely want to check out. It's a great price, great performance, especially that battery life. Man, that's rock solid, stellar. So that's pretty much a wrap for my review. If you found this video useful, be sure to check out my social links and website link in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help, subscribe, and thanks for watching.